yes. My English is trash and my Romanian is just as bad, if not worse.
What's up?
What's up?
What are we talking about today?
Memes! All the memes!
Beans, a musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot.
I love memes. Not much of a surprise there. I mean, I do stack all of my videos with memes to make myself seem more humorous than I actually am and hide my lack of personality. Yeah! But memes are just something that I personally vibe with, and my life can be a meme at times. Honestly, most of the time my life is a meme. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. 大家好，我是小 B, and I am a meme addict. Just kidding, but we are definitely going to go through some really funny memes today. If you've been learning a language for some time, you've probably encountered some language learning subreddits like r/Chinese language or other communities, and one of the best ways to build up a sense of camaraderie with fellow language learners is to share our frustrations through memes. They're hilarious yet relatable, sometimes a bit too relatable. But yeah, let's go through some memes. I've selected a plethora of memes that I think encapsulates the general frustrations of language learners, and some memes are language agnostic while others are Chinese specific because again, I am learning Chinese. But before we go into our regularly scheduled program for today, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon members, Nelson Badillo and my mom. I really appreciate you guys, and if any of you are interested in looking at my Patreon and supporting me, feel free to take a quick sneak peek at that. A lot of really cool content out there. And back to the memes! Oh, do you know that thing? It's like, beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The better you toot, the better you feel. So eat your beans and you'll feel good.
What?
Beans, a musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. So let's have beans for every meal.
Why? Why are you triggered?
Okay.
So I have memes pulled up on my phone and we will be reacting to it, or I guess I will be reacting to it. You guys can react to it in the comments below if you are interested. But if there is a source available, I will have it on the image. Fortunately, I couldn't find sources for every single meme, but I did not make any of these memes myself. Oh, damn it, my laptop. We're going to start with our first one, which comments on writing out Japanese kanji. And this one hits me a little bit too close to home because kanji and hanzi are very similar. So when I look at this, it just reminds me of how trash my writing is. No matter how much I try, it just looks so bad all the time. And I always feel inadequate. This one is by John Michael Poff. It says literally every single word in the word hors d'oeuvres. I don't think I belong here. One thing I never understand is why are there so many silent letters in all of these French words? It makes no sense. Like the way that this word hors d'oeuvres should be pronounced if we go by the letters that are actually present is hors d'oeuvres. Yeah. Okay, next one is commenting on Duolingo. You guys already know my frustrations with Duolingo, and I actually made a video about Duolingo. If you haven't seen it, link will be in the description below, but after taking one Duolingo French session, we started to become French. I think this is just anything to do with French culture. We have like our charcuterie board, some like fancy cheeses, and all of a sudden it's just like, wow, I am so fancy, I am a French person, regardless of the fact that there's so much more breadth to French cuisine and French culture, but we just like to look at it from a very reductionist perspective. Yeah, all you need to be French is a French beret and a little scarf thing, eat some escargot, drink some coffee, and then you're good to go. Not sure if I should pronounce foreign words correctly and sound pretentious, or pronounce them wrong and sound ignorant. I don't think I'll experience this for a while because I don't think my pronunciation with Chinese will ever be good enough to pronounce completely correctly. I think I'll always have some type of wageren koin. It's just gonna always sound a little bit weird, but I think that's okay. I don't think pronouncing foreign words correctly makes you sound pretentious though. It shows that you've been practicing a lot. German is a very interesting language. So in France, in England, in Italian, in Spanish, in, I don't know what country that flag is from, but in a lot of these other countries, science has some similar pronunciation. It sounds very similar to science. However, in German, this one is a Naturwissenschaften. Not Naturwissenschaften.
Naturwissenschaften.
Naturwissenschaften. How does that even relate? The funny thing is English is a language that is built upon components of both Romance languages. A lot of our more scientific words tend to be from French, Latin loanwords, whereas some of our words are also from German-based origins. Like water is from German, whereas agua, like an aquifer, that is from a Latin-based thing. So then why is German so different? I never understood. German is a very interesting language. I would love to learn it someday, and actually at my company we do have a German office. Those words are so long. They're so long. When someone says a day of the week in my second language, and I have to recite the days of the week in my head to figure out which day they're talking about. This is so true for Romanian and Spanish. Even though Romanian and Spanish days of the week are very similar, in order to get to Thursday, I don't know why Thursday is like the worst day for me, because I always have to think of, okay, Monday, luni, marți, miercuri, joi. I can't just be like, oh, this is on joi, this is on Thursday. I have to be like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's so annoying, but I will never be able to forget Saturday or Sunday. Sâmbătă și duminică. Wow, why did I have a brain fart there? But I don't know, do you guys experience this too? Are certain days of the week more challenging to remember than other days? I don't know. French police cars be like, wee 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 wee.
Baguettes, baguettes, baguette.
That one's just fun. I like that one. Wee 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 wee. I think one of the really interesting things about English is the chosen words to describe certain objects or things that vary across countries and continents. So American English is very different from British English or from Australian English. So, you know, sweatpants in Australia, we call them track dacks. What is or tracky dack? What is a tracky dack? If I have any Australian viewers, why do you call them tracky dacks? Is there like a reason behind this? There's some also other very interesting words that are used. I know this is a very stereotypical one, so if any of my Australian viewers have, I don't even know if I have Australian viewers, but if anyone has any idea of other very interesting word choices, let me know. This one is really funny. Okay, so non-English speaker says, I'm awfully sorry at the terrible state of my English abilities. As for the English language is not my mother tongue. I hope you forgive me for every foolish mistake that I make. And English as a first language, lol, it's okay. Why do us English speakers always use these random like slang? Well, I mean, slang is not a thing, but it's like we change our language, especially on online forums. We don't sound formal in any regard. At least I don't sound formal with my friends. I just like troll around. It's like the American English language has turned to become troll. We just troll at every point. I actually was trying to teach one of my coworkers, who's a father with a couple of kids, some internet slang. And he had such a hard time trying to figure this out, so I taught him rip, good game, big rip. And these are just like very simple ones, but I was actually able to have a conversation with one of my younger coworkers who's a Gen Zer, so she knows way more slang than I do. I know a very minimal amount of slang. But like, we just had an entire conversation using only slang. Like the coworker was just so frustrated. He's like, I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking about. This is a Spanish one. Want to learn the Spanish language? Verb conjugation, gender of nouns, Chileans. I would also add Argentinians. I had an Argentinian teacher back in high school, and she purposefully spoke in a standard Spanish accent. But once she went into her Argentinian accent, I couldn't understand anything. They used the cha sound very regularly, and it was just so hard. Spanish dialects, they're really difficult to understand between various locations. So I feel that a lot. And the second one, when your friend posts a Spanish meme, but you don't speak Spanish and you can't ja ja ja, ja 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 ja. I think it's interesting how people express this concept of laughter. In English, we say ha 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 or lol. In Chinese, I've seen the he, is that right? Or is that ha ha? The sound of ha.
Written in Chinese characters.
Ah, okay. So it's still ha ha. In Spanish, though, it's ja 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 ja. English speakers and Spanish speakers never understand what Shakira says in her songs. Honestly, I think this is more about songs in general, not just Shakira, because I can't understand English in English songs anyway. Like, and not even just for like mumble rap, just songs in general. I can't understand English. Maybe that's just a me thing. What studying languages is like? Latin words. Words like yes and no aren't important. Just memorize 3,000 different ways to talk about killing people though, because you will use them. When I studied Latin in high school, all I read were poems by like Caecilius, Caesar, Ovid. Was it Ovid? I don't think it was Ovid. I think Ovid is Greek. Wow, I'm messing up a lot of my Latin. I forget a lot of that. But regardless, we just read tons of letters. And the majority of the content in those letters is trying to kill other people. How do I express my intent to kill you because I don't like you? It's a very interesting thing to teach high school kids, but I guess that's the content that we do have from Latin words. Either it's about growing a garden or about killing your friend who betrayed you and backstabbed you. Et tu, Brutus, et tu. French, pronouncing every letters for chumps. German, let's combine every other word together to create the ultimate Franken word. Although one thing that I noticed is that with German, you can actually get very specific vocabulary that conveys a very specific meaning, like Schadenfreude. I don't think I pronounced that correctly, but it's a very specific situation. And I think that's really cool to be able to have a word that is so specific that no one will be able to misunderstand what you're saying. Oftentimes in English, we have to use too many words because we can't properly convey what we actually mean. So it can be very useful. Japanese also has this as well. Math vs. Japan has a couple of videos that actually talks about these very nuanced and very specific vocabulary words that are present in the language, which is why you can't do a direct one-to-one translation of a lot of things. Mandarin, what's a verb tense? I would also say, even though there's no verb tenses, the amount of modal things are crazy. Like, there's no tenses, but the ways in which you use words are dependent on like mood and other things like that, and it's so hard. It's so difficult. Arguably, it may be more challenging than verb tenses and conjugations, because at least like you can just memorize lists or stuff. Maybe that's just because I come from a Romance language background, so I'm used to conjugations. But conversely, Spanish, what isn't a verb tense? Yes, yes, yes. In English, welcome to hell. I find English so interesting, and I say this very regularly to some of my friends. I don't think I would be able to learn English if it wasn't my native language. Nothing makes sense. There's too many exceptions. I have no idea how grammar works, and my English sucks for a native speaker. If I didn't have autocorrect, I don't think I would sound remotely eloquent. My spelling is trash, honestly. It's so bad. So that's why I don't write things by hand anymore. So this one is talking about different spellings between British English and American English. For some reason, American English doesn't have a U for a lot of these things, like color. In England, it's spelled C-O-L-O-U-R. In American English, it's spelled C-O-L-O-R. Same with humor and flavor. England, what are you doing? America, getting rid of you. History. I love history. History memes. George Washington is getting rid of King George. What is King George? King George. Next one. When native speakers say that you don't even notice your accents. I know you're lying, but I feel amazing. Yeah, I've never gotten that. I'm still too poor in my Chinese to know that, but people say that about my Romanian, like my Romanian friends, or my Romanian family will be like, oh, you sound so good, your Romanian's so good, and it's like, no, it's not, it's really not. I know that you're just saying this to make me feel better, but it's not. Like, oh, you sound so cute, you sound like an American. I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't sound like an American. I do this all the time. When you listen to a native speaker trying to pick up new words, my brain just kind of churns and you can see all of the gears just going and it's just like, oh, this is so hard. I also like that it's BTS. I love BTS. So this first one, Chinese speaker, second tone, I raised that boy. You raise it. Get it? Because it's a second tone, so you go, you raise it, I raise that boy, yeah, nice. Chinese ancestors, measure words, me, g. Use that for everything. Whenever I try to order something in Chinese, there's actually this one really good Chinese restaurant in the place that I live, and I struggled my way through ordering, and the first time that I did that, the owner was so surprised and so happy that he gave me 3 extra pieces of really good meat, so I was very happy about that, but I was just like, oh, 我要这个还有那个, and then he's like, oh, do you want a drink, you know? And I had no idea what he was saying, and he's like, 可乐还是水? And I was just like, I should have known that. I should have known that. I studied this back so long ago, but sometimes the things don't connect. They really don't connect. Japanese is a pretty difficult language. Chinese is harder. Chinese has tones. Japanese is so simple. I don't know why people feel the need to compare the difficulty of different languages. Like, yeah, Chinese is hard, but so is Japanese. Like, it's pretty difficult all around. Like, every single language has its own struggles. Does he bite? No, but he can hurt you in other ways. In the Beijing dialect that underlies standard Mandarin, syllables beginning with originally unvoiced consonants are redistributed across the 4 tones in completely random pattern. The Beijing dialect is so hard. It's just like, all you hear is the R. I can't. It's just so hard. It convolutes all the other words. Me, huge lack of grammar and vocabulary in my target language. 5 minutes of Duolingo will patch that up, right? No, it will not.
Did you have a Duolingo video?
I did have a Duolingo video. Link will be in the description below. Me finding out that Mandarin has a difficult writing system and tones but no verb conjugations. I see this as an absolute win. Yes, that is a win. However, there's other challenging bits about Mandarin. Why do Chinese people always sound like they're yelling? They're just trying to pronounce the 4th tone. Yes, I always think that people are yelling. However, an interesting thing though is when I was back in Romania, my uncle, he was like, why do you always argue with your sister? Why are you always yelling at each other? I didn't know that the way that English speakers speak, or maybe this is just with me and my sister, it sounds like we are yelling all the time. Is that something that you guys have experienced? I don't know. How to write shi in hiragana? How to write shi in katakana? How to write shi in kanji? I know this is Japanese, but this is pretty much the exact same thing in Chinese. There's too many shis. I have a video about that too. Check out my Chinese homophone videos. Oh my gosh, this one hurt. Being bilingual, being monolingual, being a heritage speaker with an incomplete acquisition of both languages. Yes, my English is trash and my Romanian is just as bad, if not worse. And on that note, I think we can finish off the memes for today. If you like this video, please give me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Leave comments down below if you have any suggestions or any other memes, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one. 再见!